Bahrain, February 2026. The desert sun doesn't care about narratives. It doesn't care about headlines, social media predictions, or the noise of 1,000 paddock opinions. But somewhere in the shimmering heat of the Bahrain International Circuit, something changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, methodically, lap after lap after lap. What if the most dangerous development of the 2026 season happened in silence and almost nobody noticed? And what if the man who spent years fighting a car that refused to obey him
Does it feel a little bit better than maybe it did at the start of last year?
finally found one that does? This is not a prediction. This is not hype. This is the story the data tells when you know exactly where to look. To understand what happened in Bahrain, you have to understand what everyone expected. The narrative was simple.
I mean, I don't think today's felt good for anybody because it's so windy.
In terms of performance in itself, it's very difficult to know,
It's the lowest grip I've ever felt here
and we don't really know where we are for now.
in my 20 years. So, yeah.
Lewis Hamilton arrives at Ferrari. He struggles, he adapts, slowly, painfully, over months, maybe over half a season. That was the script. That was the safe bet. But from day one, under crosswind, on a green track, in extreme heat, the SF-26 didn't bite back. It settled, it balanced, and Hamilton didn't wrestle it, he listened to it. The first sign? Sector times that held. No spikes, no corrections, no sudden moments of instability on slow corner exits, historically one of Ferrari's most punishing weaknesses. But that was just the start. Day two, the track rubbers in. Hamilton chains long stints, and here's what the analysts caught. The degradation wasn't abrupt, it was progressive, controlled, almost surgical. On C2 and C3 compounds, in conditions that historically expose rear axle vulnerabilities, the SF-26 held its line. And when you strip away the fuel loads, the hidden engine maps, the covert strategic simulations, one truth surfaces. Ferrari wasn't just running fast, it was running consistently. Race simulation after race simulation, the pace held. Because what happened next changed everything. Day 3, Lewis Hamilton completes 149 laps in a single day. Not 60, not 80, 149. That's more than 2.5 race distances under real Grand Prix heat with real fuel loads and real degradation cycles. Teams only attempt mileage like that when reliability is already understood. And this is where the story gets dark for the competition. At first glance, Bahrain looked like a routine test. Good numbers, some long runs, a small reliability interruption mid-program, nothing spectacular. The paddock exhaled. Ferrari looked solid, they said, Lewis Hamilton adapting as expected. But that was the surface. Because when Nico Rosberg, the man who shared a garage with Lewis Hamilton for 4 years, the man who knows better than anyone what Lewis looks like when he's truly connected to a machine, when Rosberg watched the long-run data from Bahrain, his reaction wasn't enthusiasm, it was recognition, and it was laced with warning. He recognized the pattern, the smoothness in the steering inputs, the absence of constant micro-corrections, the way Hamilton was building pace, not chasing it. Rosberg didn't see a driver adapting to a car. He saw a driver beginning to dominate one. And those are two completely different things. One means Hamilton is catching up. The other means everyone else is already behind. Here's what the raw data from Bahrain actually showed, and what Ferrari did not want dominating the conversation. Under the new 2026 regulations, where the balance between thermal and electrical power is absolutely critical, the SF-26 was recording up to 30% less energy consumption per lap compared to similar architectures. 30%. That is not a marginal efficiency gain. That is a structural advantage in a formula where energy management doesn't just influence strategy, it defines it. No exaggerated lift and coast on the straights. No battery entering defensive mode mid-stint. No dramatic top speed drop as laps progressed. The SF-26 deployed cleanly, recovered cleanly, and kept pace while rivals were already managing decline. But here's the deeper revelation. Hamilton wasn't just benefiting from this efficiency, he was shaping it. Micro adjustments to brake balance, small changes to differential settings, progressive modulation of the accelerator through long support phases. He was organizing the car, classifying what was structural limitation and what was setup adjustable. And when a driver does that in 3 days on a completely new machine under brand new regulations? Ferrari didn't just leave Bahrain with a fast car, they left with a driver who had already become its architect. And internally, inside the Maranello engineering team, that changed everything. Because when a driver accelerates development, the evolutionary approach shifts from correcting weakness to optimizing strength. Ferrari was no longer working from doubt, it was working from confirmation. Let's be clear about what this means, because it operates on 3 separate levels, and all 3 should concern the rest of the grid. First, the driver. For years, the narrative around Hamilton focused on what he couldn't do, control a car that refused to be controlled. But Bahrain revealed the other version of Lewis Hamilton, the one who doesn't chase speed, the one who dictates it. Calm exits from slow corners, clean tire management, strategic patience stretched across 149 laps without a visible crack. This wasn't a Hamilton surviving Ferrari, this was a Hamilton commanding it. Second, the championship. When a car combines superior straight-line efficiency, controlled degradation, and a driver who can read a race 10 laps ahead, strategy shifts entirely. If you can sustain deployment without emptying the battery, you can attack when your rivals are forced to manage. That's not just a qualifying advantage, that's a race control advantage. And in modern Formula One, that is how championships are mathematically assembled. Third, the risk. The SF26 does not forgive misalignment. Ferrari already recorded one retirement during testing, proof that this car walks a razor's edge. Rosberg noted it too. The operating window is extremely narrow, brilliant inside its optimal range, fragile the moment conditions drift beyond it. This wasn't just a race, it was a warning, and the paddock heard it without anyone saying a word. Scenario 1. The foundation holds. Ferrari's efficiency advantage is real. Hamilton's integration deepens race by race. The SF26 scales beyond what Bahrain hinted at, and by mid-season, the conversation stops being about potential and starts being about inevitability. The 8th championship doesn't look like a dream, it looks like math. Scenario 2. The razor cuts back. The narrow operating window that made the SF26 brilliant in Bahrain becomes its curse in variable conditions. A night race, a wet qualifying, a safety car that resets tire temperatures at the worst possible moment. The car that looked untouchable in the desert suddenly has nowhere to hide. Scenario 3. The grid responds. Because Ferrari showed enough in Bahrain, and when you show enough, rivals stop underestimating and start adapting. The engineers who quietly took notes in February start closing gaps by April. And the signal Hamilton sent from those long runs, instead of being a warning, becomes a target painted directly on the SF26. 3 days in Bahrain, 420 laps of collective data, one unmistakable pattern. But the real questions remain unanswered. Was Bahrain Ferrari's true pace, or only 90% of it? And when the lights go out for real, and the chaos of a Grand Prix replaces the controlled silence of a test, does that foundation hold? One thing is certain, the grid felt it, the engineers noted it, and Nico Rosberg, the man who knows exactly what Lewis Hamilton looks like when something serious is about to happen, reacted not with hype, he reacted with recognition. Bahrain didn't give us noise, it gave us a signal. And the question now isn't whether Lewis Hamilton is ready, the question is whether the rest of the grid is ready for what's already been set in motion. If you made it this far, you already know this season isn't about who's fastest, it's about who survives the patterns. So tell me, do you believe Bahrain was the first chapter of a championship story?
Or was it the most convincing preseason illusion Formula One has ever produced? Drop your prediction in the comments, share this with every F1 fan who needs to hear it, and stay locked in, because the real battle has only just begun.